The idea for this video started out with one of the Chinese welder companies offering me a new welder, so I asked for a machine that could TIG weld aluminum. This isn't it. Lately I've been really reluctant to do sort of that promotion review video sort of thing. It's not really the content I want to make, and they usually want the video in some sort of timely fashion, which is really hard for me to do. I'm usually trying to make progress on multiple different projects at any one time, so it's really hard for me to actually finish anything. But I've got a project coming up where it'd be really useful to be able to weld aluminum, so in this case I decided I'll sell my soul, worked out all the details and time and whatnot. They were even going to pay me for it. And then they said that the only machine they had to offer was a wire feed flux core machine, and I said no thanks. I also struggle with the idea that these companies want to send me a machine to review when I really have nothing to compare it to. But I've still got that project coming up, and now that I've got the idea for a video on my experience of trying to learn to TIG weld, I figured that would be a good way to make an honest video and get a welder out of the deal, but that fell apart. So I bought this with my own money, or maybe my patron's money. Wow, I immediately cross-threaded that. This is the YesWelder TIG 200P AC/DC Pro. It's basically the cheapest AC TIG welder I could find. Should you buy one? Maybe. Let's find out. And if you do decide you want one, there's an affiliate link and discount code in the description. I get a kickback from it, but honestly, I don't really care if you buy one of these or not, because like I told that other company, I don't really want to be an influencer. I just want to weld aluminum. I have no idea how to set this up. Also, this isn't going to be a tutorial because, again, I really have no idea what I'm doing. I've been MIG welding poorly for a few decades, but I've never TIG welded before. And there are a ton of better videos if you want to learn. That's what I've been watching. Starting to understand. I don't think goes with that one. But if you want to see what it's like for someone to learn, maybe this will be vaguely informative. That sticks out way too far. So I'm going to get comfortable. Not quite sure that's what they mean when they say that. That's probably like it. Now I'm just going to practice making little dots, practicing the start. I read a lot of comments saying things like, I wish I had your skills, or I don't have nearly the same skills you do. Funny thing is, I don't think of myself as having any real particularly special skills. The only thing I'm really good at is being willing to be a beginner. I don't shy away from a project because I don't have the skills to do it. I use the project as an excuse to gain the skills necessary. Maybe that's part of the reason that things take me so long, but it seems to work. This is how you get the skills. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Now I'm going to move on to doing some where I move. Not adding any filler at this point, just trying to control the puddle and keep it constant. Speaking of things taking a long time, the thing I've realized is if I want to make these videos, I kind of need to do it on my own terms. Not on the schedule of sponsors or even the schedule that people say the algorithm likes. I've tried posting every week and I can do that for a little while, but eventually it breaks down and I start having to make videos with a bunch of fluff and filler instead of working on the projects that I want to work on. I'm pretty sure I don't want to be an influencer, and I'm not even sure I want to be a YouTuber. I'm certainly going to keep making videos. I get to make cool stuff, and I don't have to do it to anyone else's standards but my own. Dissatisfied customers either click away or leave a dumb comment, and I don't have to worry about giving a refund here. But I'd rather be a maker with a YouTube channel than be a YouTuber who makes things. I want to make videos to share my projects, not do the projects to make videos. I want life to get in the way of doing YouTube, not YouTube to get in the way of life. I don't want to cut corners with the excuse of I need to get this video out. I feel that pressure sometimes, and I really don't like it. It gets in the way of making things the way I want to make them, and I don't really want the added pressure of trying to stick to a sponsor schedule. This doesn't mean I'm totally opposed to doing sponsored content, it's just going to need to be the right sponsor and the right terms that make sense with what I'm doing and make sense for my audience. Let's start trying to add some filler. The thing about these promotions is a lot of them are done by third-party companies that might not even understand the details of the product they're offering to influencers. I got the offer for the welder and then got an offer for a completely different product from a different brand. Both of them came from the same email address. So I can't really fault the welder company for the sort of bait and switch. You know, I'm going to say for my first few beads, that's really not too bad. I'm going to keep practicing. Let's see if I can weld two pieces together. Well, there we go. It's welded. It looks like crap, but it's technically welded together. Let's keep practicing. And because these offers sort of all follow the same template, I'll just find the most recent one here. Hi, I'm Daniel from CC Company. I was impressed by your excellent content on TikTok. I don't even use TikTok. And I would love to discuss a potential collaboration with you. As a beauty brand specializing in nail art, we offer high-quality, trendy designs and high-quality nail products on the TikTok platform. I think they're talking about fingernails. We believe that your influence and creativity will help us introduce our products to a wider audience. So it's fertile ground for phishing scammers, too. I got one that claimed to be from Canon, not Canon USA or Canon Incorporated, just Canon, but it came from some random Polish email address. I don't need to deal with any of that. I've got plenty to do working through my other projects. I'm also out of argon. Of course, I'm just about out of MIG gas as well. I might as well run that out so that I can save a trip to the gas store. I've got these battery cases that I'm welding together, putting two of them together like that. Of course, if I'm going to do that, I should deal with this first. This is all something I'm going to cover in another video 3 months from now. Before on the channel about yak shaving, that process where you start doing a side project that's tangentially related to the project you're doing and then go on a side quest that's related to that. And this is one of those classic examples of that. I ended up not quite running out the MIG gas, but decided to swap it out anyway. Made the half-hour trip to the gas supplier, only to find out they didn't actually have the argon that I needed. But I did find out that they have a cylinder drop point that's a lot closer to me that I drive by 4 times a day. The end result of that is I didn't actually have to do any of that. I did make pretty good progress on that other project, though. But it's hard to explain to sponsors why, when they want these videos in a timely manner, why you have to go help your friend shave his yak herd. I also find that a lot of times being forced to step away from a project for a little bit gives me a chance to think through some of the issues I'm having. I realized that some of my struggle to keep a consistent arc was probably due to poor prep on my electrodes, so I went back, watched some more videos, threw a clean diamond wheel on my slow-speed grinder, and spent some time getting them in better shape. Anyway, now I can get back to this. So here's kind of the thing about this, is I've been at this for basically 3 days, and I'm making welds that are, well, it's a stack of something, but it's not dimes. But the thing is, I'm also at the point where I can move on to actually doing a project. I'm going to start working on welding these lids for these cases together. And this is something that's going to get ground down anyway, so if I have to grind it down, go back over it, hit any pinholes, and keep doing that, it's not really a big deal. And hopefully by the time I get done with that, I'll be making somewhat passable looking welds. I've done 9 of these now, and they're still not great. I burned through in a few places and had to go back and touch it up. There's probably some spots that are a little too cold. But if you compare it to, the last practice one I did before I started on these, you can see there's definitely improvement happening. Let's see if we can make the 10th one better. I guess I'm also probably supposed to give you my opinion on the Yes Welder, and I mean, it's getting the job done. Like I said, I don't really have anything to compare it to. A couple of things I don't like about it. One is the foot pedal feels really touchy to me, but I don't know if that's normal or just me not being used to using it. The other one that gets me is switching through these welding modes. If you're on pulse AC and you want to go straight AC, you have to go all the way through. But what's confusing is if you just hit it once, it's a little ambiguous if you're going quickly. You end up on DC and then your weld doesn't start. But you figure out what you did pretty quickly that way. This torch is also really kind of bulky and it's not particularly comfortable to hold it. When I was looking into buying this, watching a bunch of videos on them, one video brought up the point that when you're starting out, buying a cheaper welder might not be the worst thing in the world, because then you can spend money on more accessories, maybe do a water-cooled torch or something like that. And then if you upgrade later, you have the accessories, so I might look into getting a different torch for this. But overall, for someone that's just starting out, I think the Yes Welder is a good option. And I mean, it's called Yes Welder. We can all use that sort of positive affirmation. Well, I was focusing on not burning through it, and I didn't do that, but maybe went a little too cold on that one. Of course, I'm going to grind these welds down anyway, so it doesn't really matter what they look like. I guess the point of all of this is you should never let not knowing what you're doing stand in the way of your goals. I mean, if you want to do something, you don't necessarily have to be an expert to do it. If you can invest some time to get semi-proficient at something, you can use projects to keep refining those skills. I spent maybe 5 days on this, a few hours each day, and now I have the rest of my life to keep refining those skills. The flip side of that is the longer you wait to start, the less time you have to learn. So I guess if I absolutely have to be an influencer, then the way I want to influence you is to say, don't be scared to learn, go make some ugly welds, just try to make them a little better each time. Thanks for watching.